Hi guys. A few months ago, I had what I'd call a Gundam resurgence in my life. As you know, there was quite a bit of downtime last year, and I used that downtime to rediscover a ton of childhood passions of mine. G.I. Joe, Digimon, and the topic of today's video, G Gundam. Now, without further ado, it's time to set a course for the future century. Don your favorite fighting suit, and unleash your erupting, burning finger! Because today, I'll be talking all about my absolute favorite Gundam series, Mobile Fighter G Gundam.
Let's get things started! Gundam Fight all set! Ready? Go!
To put this video in context, I have to start all the way back at the beginning with my very first Gundam toys, the classic RX-78, and the Zeon Forces poster child Zaku 2. I got these two figures while on vacation as a kid and they immediately captured my imagination. I had always liked Transformers and military vehicles, so mashing those two concepts together with some space-age flair made Gundam a natural fit for my interests. I can't remember if I got the toys before or after my older brother started playing the Zeonic Front PlayStation 2 game. I feel like it was after, but regardless, I had started seeing ads on Toonami about a Gundam show that was going on, and naturally, I was all excited. Those were the toys I got. Now I would get to see them in action. Little did I know, these were advertisements for the upcoming, and completely different G Gundam series premiering on Cartoon Network, which would go on to be the definitive Gundam series of my childhood. G Gundam is insane. It has all of the diversity and intrigue found in the Power Rangers villain of the day formula, and the absolutely bonkers power-ups and special moves you'd see in Dragon Ball Z. It's over the top, sheer lunacy from the second it starts, and that's why I absolutely love this show. Other Gundam shows are grounded in a militaristic atmosphere. They are usually serious in nature, and have a message about the price of overindulging in the unchecked colonization of space, whether it's the struggle for power, war, loss, etc. That's awesome, and those stories are what makes Gundam Gundam for so many people. But for me, the very first Gundam show I saw was G Gundam. So I like to think of Gundam as the show where Earth has big pink electrified ring ropes around it as space colonies enter their nation's best mecha pilots into a Mortal Kombat-style tournament for possession of the planet. And if that isn't one of the coolest sentences you've ever heard, please, let me repeat myself. It's an anime adaptation of Giant Robot Street Fighter 2. I mean, come on. That's awesome. What makes G Gundam such an exceptional standout is its tremendous character and mobile fighter designs. Each colony represents a current nation. So instead of Japan, there is Neo-Japan. Instead of America, Neo-America. And each of these Neo-colonies has a Gundam that they enter into a last-man-standing style tournament. But these aren't just normal military-issued Gundam. Each one is unique and representative of the nation that it hails from, and some of the designs are just plain awesome. Burning Gundam, also known as God Gundam, represents Neo-Japan, and his lander's wings extend to create a giant rising sun behind him. Neo-Italy has Nero's Gundam, which was my first G Gundam toy. Nero's Gundam looks like a Roman centurion or gladiator, decked out in a helmet with a shield and axe. Gundam Maxter represents Neo-America. It's super flashy looking and completely sports-themed. He has shoulder pads that become boxing gloves and his head looks like a football helmet. Plus, to hammer home that slice of Americana, he's got two 6-shooter-style pistols. It's as if each Gundam is trying to top the last one that you saw. Just look at them all and how unique each mobile suit is. Neo Germany and Shadow Gundam. Neo China and Dragon Gundam. Neo Egypt and Mummy Gundam. And how could I not mention Neo Sweden's Nobel Gundam? She's literally a Sailor Moon Gundam. The list just goes on, and there are some truly iconic mobile suit designs in this show. I remember in 2002 putting together my Christmas list and having Mummy Gundam and Royal Gundam at the very top. I loved those two so much and they are still amongst my favorite mobile suits. When I actually got them on Christmas morning I was so happy. I couldn't believe I had them. I had literally never seen the toys in store aside from the back of the box, and I was small enough to be unaware of the internet or how to use it, so seeing them in person was an out-of-body experience. Plus, that year I got Dark Gundam, more commonly known as Devil Gundam. I actually didn't know this toy existed at the time, like at all. My mind was blown when I unwrapped that gift and this was what I saw. I wish I still had it, but all that survived my epic battles for Earth's survival were his replacement legs and some of his big yellow feet. Luckily, I still have my version 2 Dark Gundam, albeit a few missing pieces. Gundam was integral to my childhood. I loved it so much, and it was tremendously enjoyable rediscovering it as an adult, which I guess I should explain how that happened. So, I'm online browsing Japanese storefronts like Hobby Search or AmiAmi all the time, and one day last year, I saw a Rain Mikamura figure from Mega House go up for pre-order. I am not too proud to say I had an enormous crush on Rain growing up. She is so pretty and intelligent, and I loved the fact that she was an engineer who fixed up shining and burning Gundam between fights. It made it super fun to play with the toys and act like one or both were being repaired by Rain after a big battle. Oh, and when she was with Shadow Gundam and had that awesome mask to match Schwartz Bruder. Too cool. So when I saw this figure, a flood of memories came rushing back to me simply by seeing a character I hadn't even thought about in years. I couldn't help but smile, and part of me felt kind of ashamed that I had, in a way, forgotten about Gundam, especially because it isn't talked about nearly as much as Gundam Wing or SD Gundam, which were both also part of Toonami. If I wasn't going to carry the pre-verbal torch of Gundam, then who would? Gundam doesn't get the recognition I think it's earned, at least here in the West. From what I've heard, it's because it's so different and removed from the main line series, which if that's what you think, it's not like you must like Gundam. I like it because it was the first version of Gundam I was ever introduced to. I love the story, characters, and mobile suits in the show. And because I grew up around pro wrestling and fighting games, the format of the show is right up my alley. At the end of the day, I wanted to put something positive out into the world that hopefully will find those other lapsed Gundam fans and spark up a memory or two from your childhood. I hope all of you mobile fighters out there enjoyed this one, because it has been so much fun to reminisce about. Luckily for us, Gundam still exists to this day thanks to Gunpla model kits, which is how I've been reacquiring some of my mobile suits that didn't make it or others that I never received as a child. If you were looking for a relaxing hobby that will still give you those good old Gundam collecting feels, building Gunpla has been a great way to get reacquainted with the series. Plus, it's still fun coming across an awesome looking suit and reading all about it. Thanks for watching and, as always, until next time.
This hand of mine glows with an awesome power. It tells me to defeat you.
I'll get rid of all of you, once and for all!
You want a real fight?
Cannot afford to lose! I'll do all I can to defeat you. Now! What's going on? Shining Finger! You're pathetic!
Only those with the courage to fight join me.